Hello, my wonderful people. Greetings to you all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Well, this is another new day in our lives, in our families, in all our endeavors, in all our struggles to make a living. My wonderful Biafran people in the house. As the thing takes to happen, it's another bombshell where someone EKPA don't drop. Can't talk to say there's another bigger lockdown coming on soon. That one is going to starting from this month of July, but on the 31st, then I can't reach God knows when, because this one is he said it is 2 weeks, 14 good days for the lockdown, all for the call for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB leader. Well, my wonderful people, I don't want to take much of our time. Our sister, where they always continues to speak out anytime, any day, she don't come out again, when I still know her. Her name is Yulu Edochie. No, sorry, Rita Edochie. Our Nollywood actress and icon in the movie industry. She has contributed immensely to the growth of Nigerian Nollywood industry and the film. In fact, she has participated almost in 1001 videos since she came to the limelight. Well, I don't want to take much of our time. I want us to listen to the headline that we have this morning before we can be able to proceed with the news we have this day. In fact, if you never subscribe to my channel, this is the right time for you to do that. Like, share, comment. It is very, very necessary and very, very important. And as I said yesterday, and I still repeat myself, do not mind my voice. Just mind the message that came from it. Because I have not been in a good time with my voice. I don't know what is really happening. Whether someone don't go sue me for Ogun. Just the battle with my voice. So I lost my voice for a couple of days now. Trying to regain it back. But whichever way it is, all these ones are the challenges where we face for this media of 18. So, in fact, I don't want to take much of your time. Let us go straight to the reason why we are here this morning. Let us take the headlines. I think we have 2 or 3 headlines we are going to anchor on today's message. So please continue subscribing, liking, sharing, and also commenting. It is very, very important. It is very, very proper and also necessary. According to Yule Edochie, now this is Yule Edochie all the time because of his controversy. According to Rita Edochie, she says, and I quote, Nnamdi Kanu's release will stop unrest in the southeast. Not only how a lot of prominent men, both east, west, north, and south, is now calling for the release of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu, the Ahmadike one of Igbo land. He is a leader of over 70 to 75 million Biafrans. We're not talking about the ones who said they are not Biafra, but indirectly they are supporting and counseling for people to join this movement. In fact, the matter as it take be now, the federal government, the state government, the local government, everybody don't feel the pain. To the extent that Hope Uzodinjo of Imo State, where we say, I know within my spirit, even a pregnant woman, the child inside her stomach have already known that the insecurity in the southeast is being fueled by Hope Uzodinma or Hope Uzodinjo and his cronies. The likes of Ebonyi State former governor, Dave Umahi. They are the one that initiated this, what they call this Asari Dokobos men called Ebubago. Ebubago is never an Igbo security outfit to make us see the problem we are having. Ebubago is combination of militants from Niger Delta and Fulanis. Just a little Igbos. We don't say their conscience because of stomach infrastructure is among the what they call Ebubago, and they use them to put on every strategic position as the head. But the main people who is leading and heading that so-called Ebubago militia is Niger Delta militants and the Fulani foot soldiers. And that is why they go after political opponents against the APC, because remember, this government and the past government have been ruled by APC, and who is the APC? Is the Kabas in Asorok and the Fulanis from the Sokoto Caliphate. Well, I don't want to go much into trying to illustrate or explain to you the reason why it is necessary we keep on calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, but the by enforcement of a sit at home is what I did not support, but I support the movement to be continuous sit at home. But let us stop killing our own people. Let us stop maltreating our own people. Anyone you see outside during that sit at home, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, the so-called unknown government and the enforcer of sit at home, no say, my dear, all these our kind of riders, if they don't go out, my dear, they will not have something to eat. Sometimes we begin to ask, hey, after all, during the lockdown, what do we see to eat or what do we see to drink? The economy did not die and nobody died. But let us be more realistic on this very issue. Many of all these our color riders and the keke napets are all on a higher purchase, and they must deliver on daily basis. We Igbos are very difficult people. Remember, even in the midst of lockdown, our Nigerian landlords will be Igbos. Still, they call their net tenants and ask them for rent. Yes, but in other parts of the country, the Hausa man can give you a remedy or can PG for you and say, okay, after the lockdown, you pay your money. The Yoruba can as well do that. But we, our Igbos, our own landlords, my dear, their heart is at their mind. They will count for you how money they spent building the house and asking you, where were you? We will even ask you, insult even your father, where were your father when he's busy making his money? You understand me? So that is the issue. Most of our brothers, there's riding motorbike and the tricycle are all on higher purchase and they must deliver on daily basis. Without that, the owner of those said vehicles, we take it over from them. Anyway, whichever way it is, all now for the peace and the release of Nnamdi Kanu and to end the insecurity in the southeast. That is what we all are fighting for. So let us proceed with the news we have here. Another headline we have here is Biafra rejoinder, according to Daily Trust. This Daily Trust, anyway, let me reserve my comment. And my advice to those calling for Nnamdi Kanu's release, this one is just a rejoinder of Biafra news and being copied from the Daily Trust, because why this news have to be brought here at this IPOP press release is very, very important and very, very necessary. When we move on, you will go to understand why Annie Kings, a Biafra reporter, seem it as it is necessary for him to bring this news to our limelight. So my wonderful people, tighten your seatbelts. We are about to take off. Rita Edochie, our Nollywood actress and icon, has called for a release of the leader of the Indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. Edochie made the call on her Instagram page on Monday. According to her, if Nnamdi Kanu is released, the unrest in the southeast will cease forthwith, according to her, and that is exactly the point. But the issue we are having here is that we forgot to understand that the people we are asking for the release of Nnamdi Kanu are even happy popping champagne for the unrest and the insecurity in the southeast. Of course, if not, tell me the reason why Buhari and Malami cannot say Nnamdi Kanu go, for the court have already pronounced you innocent. But they choose not to do what? Not to do that simply because their plans and what they have put in place, all the script they have been writing, is to make sure that they subdue the southeast in order to allow their foot soldiers, which is the Fulani herdsmen, to take over, and which is very, very bad. And it's not going to happen because the East, the Biafrans, the Igbos have been in this country even before the inception of all these nonsense ethnic groups from nowhere. Yes, it's only Igbo. It's only Igbo language you can never find in anywhere on this earth. No, you dare not. You can find a Fulani, you can find Hausa in all other countries. You can also find Yoruba in other countries. But the main indigene of this very country, the Hausa man know it, the Yoruba man know it, and they are the wisest man from the East. Even the so-called our colonial masters, they know about it. That is why they have seen the wisest men and they said, no, if they can deal with these people, it will be very difficult for them to get our mineral resources, which they keep on siphoning and draining up to date. Nobody knows the quantity of the crude oil that the UK is taking from our land on a daily basis. But yet we will find out when the time is right. Alongside a video of the IPOP leader, she wrote, release Nnamdi Kanu today and see the unrest in the southeast become a history. Stop playing with people's lives, especially all the allies that your children are overseas and you are using other people's children to create unrest. If you are one of them, your generation and generation to come will never know peace. According to Rita Edochie, well, she really lay curses on the head of those who keep on championing this unrest that we're having in the southeast in any way, in any form. Anyway, shall my wonderful people, and what do I know? They joined those, my advice to those calling for Nnamdi Kanu's release. This one is coming from a Daily Trust publisher and is being written by Annie Kings, a Biafran reporter. I read this news with dismay. One of many unreasonable, mischievous, and disgraceful sponsored opinion molders from pro-President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's newspapers, the Daily Trust. As one faceless Nwabo Afo, a self-acclaimed media chief with high profile, tries harder to push illogical opinions to the public in order to undermine the growing call for international communities, civil rights groups, businessmen and women, religious leaders, traditional leaders, political leaders of Igbo extraction, and the people of goodwill and conscience all over the contraption called Nigeria and beyond for the immediate and unconditional release of the leader of the regional people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, in line with the order of the competent court of jurisdiction. Judgment has passed by the appellate courts of Nigeria since October 13 of 2022. That discharged and acquitted the IPOB leader of all frivolous charges brought against him by the federal government of Nigeria. The appellate court pronouncement judgment on the case of IPOB leader is considered a landmark judgment without prejudice. Mindset states that Nnamdi Kanu remains innocent as though a prisoner of conscience, a political prisoner by the Nigerian state, a guiltless prisoner. I would have ignored such baseless arguments of the so-called advice to those calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu to trade with the circumcision and follow reasons if the rabble Rosa did not disguise himself as an Igbo man pretending to have the interest and development of Igbo land at heart. It has become necessary that this unidentified writer is lectured on definition of the word circumspection and reasoning and how it applies it rightly to achieve its primary meaning, devoid of misleading the public for the benefit of his paymasters, to satisfy his stomach, infrastructure, and the word circumcision is a noun that is defined as the quality of being careful, not to take risk, while the word reasoning is defined as the action of thinking about something in a logical or sensible way. Now, if you are to be careful and avoid taking risk, as he intends to advise, we must apply logic and be sensible to achieve sound reasoning, according to Annie Kings, the Biafran reporter. The logic here is that a popular Igbo adage says, the voice of the people is the voice of God. Also, in a democratic settings, it implies that the majority, including opinion, carries the vote calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu is a general call that has the support of 99% of all Igbo and Biafrans across the clans that made up the Biafra land. The only little voices calling for Nnamdi Kanu's continuous detention in DSS solitary confinement, even when Nigeria appellate court had discharged and acquitted him and found him innocent of all the federal government frivolous charges against him, are the lies of the voice of this hungry Nwabo Afo and Creek Pig, Asare Dokubo, Femi Fanekayode. These are names that are deficient in integrity and are morally bankrupt with sound history. They lack a statutory value in the society due to their shameless ambition for stomach infrastructure activism. Therefore, to trade with circumcision, one would soundly reason that these voices calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu should be encouraged to continue and not allow themselves to be cajoled or cowered into silence for their call for justice to prevail, as it is being done in a sane society, as opposite action is tantamount to being reckless or irresponsible to the cause of justice, which only conscienceless stomach infrastructural activities like this opinion molder can throw such ugly paths on development. Nnamdi Kanu is in the DSS gulag Today, because of his numerous outcries and agitation for Biafra referendum against the federal government of Nigeria over her negligence of developing the Igbo land since 1967 to 1970. The genocidal war the Nigerian government brought to Biafra territory ended, hence he finds it necessary that it is better for Biafra to be on her own as a separate independent nation so that the people of Biafra can be able to develop their land and restore their identity as God Almighty created them before the coming of the colonial masters. Nnamdi Kanu embarked on this journey for self-determination without considering or having a personal ambition for self-accumulation of wealth, unlike one faceless Mr. Nwabufo, not only exists in the print media. This faceless Nwabufo is considered to be the APC government bankrolled opinion molder because of all his interests is against the unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu, and noting more than when in history this faceless individual become a court of competent jurisdiction to pass judgment on accused persons in Nigeria if it is not working for the APC government to change the narrative of events. This message is edited by who? By NWC Eke, and brought to you by Amanda Neze Okute from my own corner this very morning. According to Shehu Sani, it don't come again. Nigeria is a movie. It's a movie theater where we say anything is possible to happen. We have not recovered from the vessel they said last time. They caught it stolen with stolen crude and they set it ablaze. And I asked Nigeria, so we are looking for crude and we have enough crude to set ablaze. Now this country is a cruise. Anybody have right to do anything they like. Look at what Shehu Sani is saying. He said military should explain their whereabouts when crude oil was stolen. According to Shehu Sani, if they are not at the helm of these affairs, just like that Creek Pig outside Dokubo states, a former Kaduna Central Senator, Shehu Sani, has said the Nigerian military should be questioned about their whereabouts when the country's crude oil is stolen from our coastal waters. The chieftain of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) made this known in a tweet via his verified Twitter handle on Tuesday. Senator Sani said, if Nigerians can't accuse the military of stealing crude oil because of a lack of evidence, they should explain their location during the theft. He wrote, if we can't accuse the military of stealing our crude oil because we don't have evidence, at least we can question their whereabouts when our crude oil is stolen from our coastal waters. This thing is not something that can happen hours. So this is not something we go happen for complete good 1 month before that ship will arrive and take off from our coastal waters. Those who can steal with a ship can invade with a ship as well. Akpabio unveiled Senate committees names Adeola Wadada as chairman. This one is story for another day. But we need to ask, where is our military when our crude oil are being invaded? Charlie Boy, the area father, makes confession about his family. I don't know what he's confessing about, but let us see. The Nigerian entertainer Charles Chukwuemeka Oputa, popularly known as Charlie Boy or area father, has made some confessions about his biological father and family. Nigerian news report that the 73-year-old singer and songwriter took to his Twitter handle on yesterday, to share about his family's mental health history. The self-acclaimed area father noted on the micro-blogging platform that his late father always told him that the Oputas are very special people. According to Charlie Boy, his family's sanity might be debatable, but their bond is unbreakable. Sharing a photo of himself and a cousin, Uriel Oputa, Charlie Boy captioned, "My darling cause. The Oputas are very special people. My father never let me forget that. Yes, so our sanity must be debatable, but our bond is unbreakable. We always represent." See the screenshot as well, the Oputa families. According to Charlie Boy. Benue's Governor Committee raised Samuel Otom's auto shop. This one is the fight for recovery of looted funds from the past government. An asset recovery committee appointed by Governor of Benue State, Hyacinth Alia, has carried out a surprise raid on an automobile shop owned by a former governor of the state, Samuel Otom, on Tuesday. The shop is situated in Makurdi, the state capital. The operation showed the seizure of multiple vehicles. The committee reportedly used towing vans to remove some of the vehicles after attempts to drive them away were unsuccessful. In response to this action, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in Benue has leveled accusation of political persecution at Governor Alaya. The PDP State Publicity Secretary, Bemba Loretom, described the committee's action as a shameful display of naked tyranny and impunity. Lotam said earlier today, thugs accompanied by security agents purporting to be on an asset recovery mission raided a private automobile workshop owned by the former governor's business concern, Oracle Nigeria Limited, catching away motor vehicles at the premises of the workshop. Staff of the workshop have confirmed to PDP that the vehicles of yet to be ascertained number were those brought there for repairs by private owners and are not in any wise from any public source. PDP knows that this is yet another manifestation of disregard for the rule of law by the Benue State Governor, considering there is a subsisting court order barring his government from tampering with the assets of the former governor, specifically motor vehicles. The governor has, through his chief press secretary, Tasu Kula, said government vehicles numbering 29 were looted by the former governor. Kula had in a statement posted that the case of the government house is particularly pitiable, with vandalized furniture, window blinds, electronics, and other household appliances. This is beside the catching away of all vehicles, including an ambulance and a press crew bus attached to the office of the governor, and the last count, 29 vehicles attached to the governor's office are still nowhere to be found, according to the reporter. Senators sent fresh message to President Tinubu on the fuel subsidy removal. The Senate on Tuesday commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on his decision to implement the total removal of fuel subsidy in Nigeria, describing it as a move in the right direction. They also expressed happiness that the decision was taken during the tenure of the 10th National Assembly. The lawmakers of the upper chamber of the National Assembly, however, called on Tinubu to quickly fashion out and implement the palliatives for Nigeria to cushion the effect of the removal. It will happen maybe end of this year. For this work that I'm seeing, they are not even ready to do anything. The senator, during plenary in a motion moved by Senator Patrick Ndubeze, representing Imo North Senatorial District, entitled "Need to Investigate the Controversial Huge Expenditure on Premium Motor Spirits (PMS) under the subsidy and under recovery regime by the NNPCL," agreed to, among others, constitute an ad hoc committee to holistically investigate all controversies surrounding subsidy and under recovery regime. Ruling on the motion after the deliberations and contributions by the members on the floor of the Senate, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, got the nod of his colleagues to formally commend President Tinubu on his courageous decision to stop the payment of fuel subsidy on PMS. According to a statement from the media team of the Senate President, Akpabio, while commending his colleagues on their decision to commend President on the fuel subsidy removal, said, "We commend President Tinubu for the decision to remove fuel subsidy. We are excited for the courage displayed by the so-called president. It was one decision that had to be taken, and we are happy that it was taken during the lifetime of the 10th Senate. We are also looking forward to the implementation of the palliatives," according to them. Appointing former governors as ministers does not make any sense, according to Daniel Boala of the PDP. The PDP's spokesperson for the presidential campaign organization, Daniel Boala, has expressed displeasure with the reported plan by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to appoint former governors as his ministers. In a Twitter post on Tuesday, Buhari claimed that the president does not want the status of Minister of State because he wants to use the special advisors as squash ministers of the state. He said the reported plan is commendable because most special advisors are often not utilized with their competence in their roles, adding that the roles are most often than not used for political patronage. He wrote, why he doesn't want status of ministers of state is because he wants to use the special advisors as squash ministers of state. That is commendable to me because most SAs are often not utilized with their competence in those roles. The roles are most often than not used for political patronage. However, I still have growth with his insistence on appointing former governors as ministers. In fact, failed former governors, according to Daniel Buhala. Security operatives set ablaze vessel with stolen crude oil. Let me expatiate this. Let me drop my own voice on what is happening at a point or at a time where the country is in a total confusion, fighting one way or the other on how to curb the oil theft in the Niger Delta or in our coastal waters. So now, you are telling me that these people now, they have the mind to enter our water again, even when we have new government, fighting against oil theft and corruption. They come to thief another one. Let me make this clear to you. This one is that don't do it playing with Nigerians in totally. What they are doing us is the more you look, the less you see. Military have been accused of championing the oil theft in the Niger Delta coastal region. Now, the government now will make you like say they are working. That is why they bring out an empty vessel that have nothing and tell you that this one now caught with stolen crude oil. So Nigeria, we have the right, that open eye, and burn a vessel with crude oil in it, whereby Nigeria is owing almost 77 trillion naira. Who are you people deceiving now? Make one take a me. Who are you people deceiving? We are not children. We are not children. This one is just to make them now to believe, oh, the government is working. That is how they bring another empty vessel, the other one they are not doing again, and say, oh, we caught it with over 800,000 barrels of crude oil. They said, oh, it was set ablaze. And I was a kind of, and people are commending them. I folded my hands and I was watching them and said, look at these mumu people. You keep on mumuing yourself, thinking that you want to fool the whole country. Empty vessel. Now, this government now come and, hey, they are working. Hey, they are working. But at the end of the day, you still find out that we will never reach the OPEC quota they have given us of 1.8 to 2 million barrels of crude oil that Nigeria is supposed to be contributing to the OPEC. Then the question is, what is happening? Security operatives don't set ablaze empty vessel and they claims it have crude oil. They will tell me where this crude oil is being offloaded. Nonsense set of people. Security operatives of Joint Task Force Operation Delta Survey, in collaboration with Tantita Security Service Nigeria Limited, have set ablaze and intercepted massive vessel carrying barrels of stolen crude oil in the Cravassos area of Delta State. The vessel was allegedly owned by a Nigerian registered company, was heading to Cameroon with the cargo on board when it was apprehended at an offshore location with the captain and crew members on board. According to the executive director of operations and technical at Tantita Security, Captain Warid Eniso, and the commander of the Joint Task Force Operation Delta Safe, Rear Admiral Olusegun Ferreira, the oil cargo was illegally sought from a whale jacket offshore in Ondo State with no valid documentation in the time of the arrest. They said the vessel had operated in stealth mode in the last 12 years, stealing our crude oil. Then who will catch them to give account of the crude oils that have been taken from our coastal waters? Nobody. The discovery was the latest in the series of disturbing findings by Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited, a security outfit owned by former militant leader, government EKPA Polo, aka Tom Polo, and contracted by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited. according to them. The last but not the least, election. If Peter Obi concede defeat, we will not accept, according to Charles Oputa, or Chukwuemeka Oputa, popularly known as Charlie Boy. The maverick singer, Charles Oputa, aka Charlie Boy, has warned the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi against conceding defeat to the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Daily Post report that Obi and Labour Party are currently in court challenging the victory of Tinubu. However, Charlie Boy has said, even if the Labour Party candidate decided to drop his petition at the President Election Tribunal against President Tinubu, he and the other supporters of the Labour Party would not agree to such an agreement or arrangement. According to him, Nigeria must be better by fire, by force. He insinuated that the country was long overdue for a revolution. He said, should the judiciary fail, Obi supporters will explore other options. In a tweet on Tuesday evening, Charlie Boy said, you know something, even if Peter Okute Obi come tell us, say, make we move on from the 2023 selection, where Yakubu mess up, obedience no go gree. Sam. I tell many people say, waiting what happen, we don overdue to happen for Nigeria past Peter Obi. Nigeria must be better by fire, by force. Obedience and lovers of the new Nigeria, take note. All our eyes there for judiciary. If they like, make them do what? Make them do wuru. We know what to do, according to Chukwuemeka Charles Oputa. So my wonderful people, my viewers and subscribers, now here we go take back our kaya and I go with the go. So if you never subscribe to my channel, please endeavor to do that. Subscribe, like, share, and also comment. Until you hear my voice again, I still remain your one and only Okute Daily Talk. Have a nice day, and may the Almighty God bless us all as we about to embark on another blockbuster. Bye for now. Kemesiano.